All right, so I thought about canceling the Modern stream today and instead streaming a made-up constructed format at MTG Arena that consists of Dominaria and then some other standard legal sets. But I decided that streaming Modern sounded more exciting, so we're gonna play some Modern instead. What is Torpor Eater? There's a link in the queue, Shazdoom. You can take a peek at it. It was an idea Nivik submitted, and then I took it and kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Hopefully made it better. Hopefully made it playable. We'll see. We're starting off with Jeskai Nahiri. So this is the Jeskai Nahiri list that is based off of the donation deck list that we played pretty recently. I cleaned up the sideboard a little bit and then made a couple swaps in the main deck. I think the only things I changed were Logic Knots into Mana Leaks, and I turned the second Field of Ruin into another basic land. But this is still the core of the donation deck. I really like this deck. It felt pretty powerful. I think Nahiri with the combo is a good place for Damping Sphere, potentially. Can really maybe allow this archetype to keep up with Tron. Finally got the 3-month badge, Nathan Goal. Thank you for the bits. Thanks for sticking around for 3 months. Welcome back. So I am running this one back here. This is one of the decks that I'm considering. I'm going to the Louisville Open next month in Kentucky, so I'm looking for a deck list to play at that tournament. I would like to keep this hand. I think we're going to fetch a... We're going to fetch a Hallowed Fountain here. Because this, I need this to get white, and it can't fetch basic planes anyway, so might as well just get Hallowed Fountain right off the bat and cast my Serum Visions. I also do need triple blue for my Cryptic Command. I don't really know what we're looking for. You could maybe make an argument that I would like to wait on that, but I kind of just want to spend my mana this turn. Getting top of path there is pretty good, and getting to ship a Nahiri to the bottom after we drew one feels great. Where can I donate bits for Blue Red Prison at Louisville? So I don't think I'm gonna sell myself for Louisville. I think I'm gonna just work on work on a couple different deck ideas and like actually test a few different things or get reps in with 2 different things. Kind of burgle. I guess you could maybe argue that I want a 4th land in general. Ooh, Poop Bears. Okay. I do really want a 4th land, but I think the path's good enough against enough things, and like Nahiri can turn the path into something else if it wasn't going to be particularly good. And like with the Lightning Helix, I can probably afford to miss for a turn or 2. I'm just going to go ahead and Helix this. Speaking of, if my opponent goes Cat Jesus Wasteland me, I'm going to be a little bit sad, but they're going to get to do that anyways, and I really want to use my mana this turn, I think. I guess if they take me off white, I'm going to be really kind of tilted. All right, no Cat Jesus. That's great for us. I'm wearing a Reptar onesie during my office hours. That's an interesting... yeah, I'm gonna go with interesting. I've exposed myself to Restoration Angel. Maybe I should have just done this on my turn? Yep. About to get punished. Should have done this during my turn. Should have just done that during my turn. So I'm gonna get 2 for 1 by this. I can pass and not path this just yet because my opponent, hey, Haskow, finally time to switch the occasional Prime sub to an auto-recurring sub. Well, thank you for the 2-month resubscription and welcome back, Haskow. I appreciate it. So Resto can't blink other Restos, so just clearing this out is nice and clean here. So we're gonna cast my Serum Visions here probably. Yep. That's annoying. I really wanted to snap my Serum Visions next turn. Hopefully we can draw I'll land and Windmill Slam this Nahiri, threaten to pressure with that very quickly. He'll turn 12 Aether Vial, yep. Survey says. That's a real tilt, especially after they just played that out. So I think I just passed the turn here. I think I'm going to take the hit from this, especially since we're still at 20 to hold up this to possibly Spell Snare something this turn. And then if they don't give us something to Spell Snare, we'll Snap Bolt something at end of turn. Or Snap Path to play something larger, I suppose. God bless us, everyone. You should look at my last YouTube video on the deck. It's actually at the top of the donation queue right now as well, I believe. So there's a pretty good chance that we'll play it again some point soon. Pretty sure it's the top of the legacy queue. That's pretty decent. I think... So this isn't going to 3 yet, so Flicker Wisp isn't a thing I have to worry about. They can't resto this, so I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do this now in case they have like Aven Mind Sensor or something silly. I'm gonna grab Sacred Foundry here, and then I'm gonna snap Helix the Sarah Avenger. Yeah, it's got a green border for whatever reason, just Magic Online things. And we're actually in a pretty good spot considering the fact that my opponent, what's the word I'm searching for? They got to 2-for-1 us with the Restoration Angel. Dampening Sphere is a very reasonable card if your deck can close the game out in a reasonable amount of time. And if it can't, then it's not. So... get another island here. They could aggressively Ghost Quarter us to keep us off of double white, triple blue here, which would be a little annoying, but like not the end of the world. They're down to 2 cards in their hand, and we've got like 3 pretty reasonable cards in our hand, so we're in a pretty decent spot here. Obviously not blocking their first striker with my 2-1. No desire to do that. Sure. I'm gonna grab a mountain here. Then I assume they're gonna tag this and make me get a plains. Ah. Alright. I think I'm gonna save this. I like my red source. I think we're pretty reasonably ahead right now. I should have floated mana when they Ghost Quartered me the first time. I was like, this doesn't matter, but I wasn't expecting them to Ghost Quarter my red source. I was not expecting that. I guess I should have. Thank you. I appreciate the reminder. Genuinely do. Maybe. They only have like so many more ghosts. They only have 2 more Ghost Quarters in their deck, right? It's like whatever. But yeah, sure, you're probably correct. I think it's pretty minimal either way. They have a Flicker Wisp here, and they're thinking about flicking the Dire Fleet Daredevil. I'm gonna bolt or Helix my Snapcaster Mage, probably. That's actually annoying because it means I can't Nahiri that next turn. Am I Snap Bolting this turn now? Probably. They're using Cryptic Command just to draw a card. Are they gonna like bounce my house? This seems much too cute. I feel like you're supposed to. I mean, I'll take it. You know, like, sure. Oh, they're cantripping their Flicker Wisp. They're cantripping their. That's actually reasonable for us, because like now I get to do this and then play this Nahiri and push her to 6. You don't really want, I don't think I want either of these, right? I think I actually want to keep all of the cards in my hand too. I actually like, pretty sure I like all the cards in my hand. What's going on, Drax? Howdy, howdy. Remember, they do have a Flicker Wisp, so they can reset our Nahiri at will, but just like getting her into play seems valuable. I don't know that I'm going to push her to 8 because they have the Flicker Wisp too to blink the, although blinking Emrakul is actually pretty good for us, isn't it? Any reason to not eat the Vial? Yeah, because I don't want them to play the Flicker Wisp, blink the Dire Fleet Daredevil, and then bolt to kill my Nahiri. I think that would be very bad. I don't want them to take my Nahiri off the table. I want my Nahiri to stick around and generate card advantage. Plus, like, the Aether Vial is, like, not really that annoying, I don't think. Opponent's red-white deck has been pseudo-popular on Magic Online recently. Actually gonna sit down for a little bit. Just get done doing the dishes upstairs and I was standing for that. So enjoy the ride down. Sit down for a minute. Sit for an hour or so, stand for a couple hours, you know. 2 up, 1 down. Seems to be a good ratio. Whee! What do we got, opponent? You got Flicker Wisp and then 4 cards. Flicker Wisp and then 4 cards. Do I want to chump block with my Snapcaster Mage is a question. I'm not sure that I do. The Aether Vial is not just about mana efficiency, it's about sequencing tricks that they can do, though. It's about sequencing tricks that they can do. So Leonin Arbiter, yeah. Let's see if they have a Wasteland here. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. So they get to hit Nahiri down to 4, and then they get to Flicker Wisp Bolt her down to 1, I assume here. Interesting. Okay, so that's a Field of Ruin. I could actually use this to Wasteland them. That's probably too cute. Maybe I should have just cycled that. Maybe I should have just cycled that. Alright, I'm gonna play Lad Chad here. I'm gonna plus on the cat. And I think I'm just gonna plus, because like I know they have a Flicker Wisp because they bounced it back to their hand when they did the what's it called earlier? The Kansas City Shuffle. So I think I want to just wait on that. I don't have another copy of Basic Mountain in my deck. So I'm just gonna snap bolt this in response, right? And yeah, Cameron, to answer your question, this is one of 3 decks I'm considering playing at the Open right now. It's 4 decks really. So yeah, one of 4 decks I'm considering playing at the Open. I've got a little bit less than a month to figure out what I want to play. I just want to be mana efficient this turn, I think, Burgle. I think mana efficiency is important. Getting the Snapcaster Mage into play means I can trade with this, which also means this is less threatening. Alright, so we don't know their last card here. Unless they have a bolt, they can't kill either of my planeswalkers, which is nice. The prison deck is on the short list. Today's been crappy, but these 5 decks look sweet. Looking forward to the stream. Put this towards green-white interlude, please. Sounds good, Gores. fastest. Attacking Nahiri. Yeah, they need to keep Nahiri in check now, right? Because she, like, actually kills their things. It's another cat, Jesus. Okay. And Athalia, sure. Looking for removal. That is not removal. Huh. So if I plus Nahiri and then plus on and then bolt this and plus on one of these, they can't kill any of my planeswalkers. So that sounds appealing. To finally discard something with her, which is nice. I think I'm gonna hold this. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this now, just in case my opponent draws a Restoration Angel or another Flicker Wisp. Let's see where they send these. Yeah, both at Nahiri makes sense. We get 2 looks. We've got 2 sweepers in our main deck. One of them's an Anger, though, so I actually can't cast that with our current mana situation, which kind of sucks. This Flicker Wisp eating my red source until end of turn. Or they're taking away Gideon. That's unfortunate. Verdict. I'm pretty sure I want to just bin... Nah, I'm gonna bin the Glacial, actually. Okay, that's a Lightning Helix. Sure. There aren't 2 mountains in my Jeskai deck. So we'll see how they want to attack here. And hopefully this Helix can keep one or both of my planeswalkers alive. Probably just one. I imagine we're going to see the 3 2-power creatures attack Nahiri, and then we'll see the Flicker Wisp attack Gideon. That will be my guess, at least. Yeah, basic mountain is the worst land in these decks. You play it so you can't get Ghost Quartered off your colors, or Field of Ruined off your colors. Whoa, we care more about... Wow, that's great for me. Yeah, I would love to keep my... Nahiri, thanks. They draw another Flicker Wisp. I mean, them's the beats. I have no idea, Camwell. I don't keep track of what I put in when. If I'm being honest. Does it have extra points? No, it still has 12 extra points. The decks earn a point for every day they sit in the queue. So if a deck's been in the queue longer, it moves on up. So that way, someone that donated for a deck that just donated the minimum amount doesn't have to wait for forever. Oh, this lets them blink my Nahiri now too, so I don't get to draw a card with her. So I need to draw like exactly Supreme Verdict now, right? I assume they're going to blink Nahiri. I guess they could blink my red source if they want to be cute, but they should probably blink this. It resets her to 4, but like they have more than enough attack to kill her. They actually have 13 power in play too. So I'd like to draw... What? Sure, yep. We got 2 shots at a Verdict now. This actually lets me draw Anger too, which is nice because I can pay 4 and then still cast Anger. So I'm going to discard the Spell Snare so Anger can be a draw. Search for Azcanta. What a powerful Magic the Gathering card I have drawn. Oh, that's annoying. I assume my Nahiri is going to die next turn. I get to flip Search, but then I'm actually short on being able to activate Search plus play Supreme Verdict because of the Thalia, right? We're mostly dead. I have to, like, draw Supreme Verdict in 2 hits next turn. It's really unfortunate that they drew... That's how it always goes, right? You're like, well, their deck full of mostly unplayable cards is really dead unless they drew exactly Flicker Wisp off the top this turn. Then they draw exactly Flicker Wisp, but you're like, oh, well, yeah. All right. Get 3 shots here now because I didn't kill Nahiri for whatever reason. I would like to put that... Oop, my phone is not on silent. I should fix that. Apologies. I would like to transform this. Survey says it's a Snapcaster Mage. So if I snap Serum Visions, that cost me 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, which only leaves me 1, 2, 3, so that's not good enough. If I snap Helix here, it puts me to 5. I block here, I take lethal. My Cryptic Command from earlier is gone because of the flashback. No, I can't Azcanta into Anger because I can't fetch a red source untapped. I also have to pay mana to crack my fetch, so... yeah, I just have to hope to hit my 1 Supreme Verdict that's in my main deck. I think discussing which version of the Leonin Arbiter deck is best is like talking about, like, is diarrhea more disgusting than a firm turd? And it's like, well, I guess one is technically less gross than the other, but they're both pretty awful, right? It's like, sure, I guess we could discuss which is less bad if you really wanted. All right, so probably this. I'm not sure if I want this Engineered Explosives. That's probably fine. Spell Snare's pretty terrible, right? I guess they have a lot of 2s. Cryptic Command's okay just for fogging them. This EE's fine. That seems okay. I feel like we hit some pretty bad beats there. We like didn't have a sweep. We went through 30 cards in our deck and didn't have one of our 2 main deck sweepers. And then to like top that off, they like had a turn where they had to draw exactly their second Flicker Wisp, and they drew exactly their second Flicker Wisp as their draw step. So I feel like if either of those things would have gone our way, that game probably would have broken in our favor. That's what it is. That's why we play best of 3. Yeah, definitely, Burgle. Yeah, I agree with that too. Like on top of getting exceptionally unlucky, I punted a removal spell on turn, what, like 3 or 4 or whatever that was, that like ended up with us being down. It ended up putting us down points of health, because not only did we have to spend another removal spell killing their thing, but we lost a Lightning Helix, so we didn't gain 3 points of health. Yeah, but if I minus the Nahiri and then get to cast the Snapcaster Mage, I'm seeing the same number of cards. So I'm still only seeing +1 card regardless. So it's kind of irrelevant. Maybe I should have fetched a blue source there so I could cast Serum Visions if I draw it. No, nothing too major, if I recall. It's had a Damping Sphere. I don't even think I added a Sahali. I'm not sure that deck really needs it. The deck is a pretty good burn matchup. Yeah, the artwork on all of these enemy duels in Dominaria is just like A+. It's really fantastic. Really, really love it. I'm going to be exceptionally sad when our opponent plays Cat Jesus and Wastelands us this turn, but that just is what it is. Hey, Z Kaler, thank you very much for the brand new Twitch Prime support. There's a lot of excellent people streaming on Twitch right now, and I appreciate you choosing to support my content this month with your Twitch Prime. Oh no, Magic players afraid to change. Alright, sweet. Serum Visions is okay, right? To go ahead and do... tap like this in case we draw another bolt. That's a land. That's a path to exile. Huh. I feel like I want to leave this land on top. The path is probably great too, actually. Yeah, I'm going to keep the path and bottom the land. Just going to go ahead and plus this Gideon again, I think. I think I just want my Gideon to be at, like, max loyalty here, basically. No 2-drop. Alright, so their hand must have... that means the path's probably going to be pretty good, so they probably have a lot of top end in their hand. I guess maybe it was worth keeping the land on top, because I could play a land out this turn. Like, it would be my 5th land. Like, I'm probably going to, like, play Nahiri and plus spin the other Nahiri. And, like, I could have picked up a land guaranteed. No, I've not seen any interesting wizard decks. There haven't been anything submitted in that area. I think with Gids at 5, I'm going to start attacking. And never mind, because I accidentally moved to combat before activating him. That's fine. Getting him to 6 is okay too. Let's make them choose which one they want to Flicker Wisp. I assume we're getting Flicker Wisp. They haven't done anything in 3 turns. I think the Gideons are very important. I think they're a big part of what makes the deck good. I think these blue-white decks in Modern playing Gideon is very reasonable and makes them powerful. I think this card is the Magic card that, like, blue-white Geist players always wished Geist of St. Traft was for a long time. Like that. Prevent non-combat damage that would be dealt to creatures you control. Yep. Okay. Well, I'm glad I have this Nahiri to turn my lightning bolts into stuff. What is... okay, so Tony V, again, you need to sell me on it. What does Mox Amber do for this deck? What problem do you envision this deck having that playing Mox... this is why I could never play this deck, Burgle. This is like a great example of why I could never play this deck. I am so unreasonably tilted right now. Yeah, gotta just get off of it. I'm gonna just get off of it. This one, Jeff, this problem. Well, right now, Mox Amber would tap for no colors of mana. Would tap for no colors of mana. I mean, they got us. Their sideboard card was very good. Their sideboard card was very good. Yes, Burgle, we're transitioning seamlessly from hope to despair. Just like, even with Nahiri in these decks, I feel like you just don't you just don't get enough free wins in an archetype like this. And I feel like Modern's a format where if I'm going to show up to a long tournament with a deck, and like I'm going in with the expectation of like trying to do well, I want to be able to get some amount of free wins out of my deck, right? Yeah, sure. In a world where I draw one of my 2 remaining Nahiris and I draw one of basic planes, yes. Nahiri could have killed that enchantment. You are correct. Oh, Bob, every time I lose to bears, I sell the deck I'm playing. That's just good life advice, folks. That's good life advice. That's fantastic life advice. Every time I lose to bears on Magic Online, I sell the deck. That was the pick me up I needed, Bob. Thank you. Thank you for a little bit of humor. I needed some humor in my life at that moment. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday, hanging out, playing some Modern, and play a league with Jeskai here. We're gonna play some other fun stuff. Just got a whole bunch going on. I'm gonna hold up this Spell Snare this turn. Just see what they do. They played Mark of Asylum, Frenzied Mage, and then Magus of the Moondust off of all of our colors. If they unban Stoneforge Mystic, I think the Taxes decks would be really sweet because you would just like automatically cut Leonin Arbiter, which is the most unplayable card in the world. And then you'd put Stoneforge Mystic in your deck, a deck that's very good. And you'd have like this reasonable mid-range deck instead of just like trying to get people with Ghost Quarters, right? Anger. This is probably a fine... It's looking like their Storm, right? So the search for Azcanta, this game's probably going to go long, especially with the disruption we have in hand. The Anger's actually a pretty bad draw, right? Because we already have the Supreme Verdict. Yeah, I thought about playing a made-up format on Arena as opposed to playing Modern today, and then I decided better of it. I have a random thing. I don't know why I've been given a Vanguard, but sure. All right. Hopefully, have any of you been to Azcanta? I hear it's nice this time of year. Hopefully we will find out that's the case. What are we finding on our way to Azcanta today? Yeah, I'm gonna bin that. I think I'm just gonna shock myself and hold this Cryptic Command. Oh, no, we'll play that and hold this Cryptic Command up. We'll just Cryptic this Gifts Ungiven here in a second, and they'll untap and kill us. What's a Vanguard? Vanguard was a extra game mode for Magic the Gathering that they created forever ago, where they were basically champions, actually, Tom. They were cards that modified your starting health total and they modified your starting health total and your starting hand size, and they gave you different abilities. It was really sweet, actually. It was a great casual mode. We played it a ton. No, I don't think bouncing a land has a meaningful impact. I think if they're killing us next turn, they're going to kill us with 4 lands or 5. We played it a ton as a child. I got a gift box that had 8 of the 30. There were like 32 Vanguard cards they printed, I think. And I got a gift box as a kid as a present that had 8 of them in it, and then we printed out the other 24 off the internet because, you know, you weren't shuffling them anyways, so we just had proxies for them. It was a lot of fun. I played a lot of really casual Magic for a very long time. I didn't start playing competitively until New Phyrexia. I was also a small child for, you know, the first decade I was playing Magic, so I didn't really have much money to play. So casual was the only option. Am I dead, opponent? I would really appreciate not being dead, but if I am, that's fine too. This matchup's probably pretty good for us. In addition to Damping Sphere in the board to hit on Tron, we also have a couple copies of Rest in Peace here, and just some more decent counter magic. So if we lose game 1 here, I think we're a pretty strong favorite in 3, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure countering the gifts is right. Regardless of if we die here or not, I'm fairly confident countering that Gifts Ungiven was correct. They've played pretty minimal amounts of cantrips to sculpt their hand, so like getting to Demonic Tutor for 4 cards is probably pretty good. I think it depends on what your deck looks like and what other tools your deck has for matchups that you're looking to fight. So for instance, the green-black deck I've been kicking around, I've got 3 Damping Spheres and then 2 copies of Fulminator Mage in the sideboard still, because Fulminator Mage is decent against Tron, but it's better. All right, looks like our opponent has determined we're dead. That's unfortunate. Oh, Leon, you're not new here. I'm going to go ahead and give you a 10-minute timeout. If you want to be constructive when you come back and use your words and tell me why you think the deck without Nahiri is better than the deck with Nahiri, I'm going to do the opposite for you. I'm going to tell you that I think this deck is better with Nahiri than without Nahiri, because a big problem that Jeskai Control has is its lack of closing power. And what Nahiri does for this deck is she allows it to not only have closing power, but also have flexible answers to different things. She's additional ways pass to exile large creatures. She's an additional way past so if they have another ritual in their hand or Manamorphose, we're gonna die here. Grape Shot. Oh, do they just naturally have the Past in Flames? I'm gonna bin the 2 rituals here. I'm pretty sure mana is their bottleneck, so we're gonna bin those and hope for the best. I think Nahiri goes a long way to solve a lot of the problems this archetype in general has. I haven't played other Jeskai lists and felt particularly impressed. Last time we played this, like, the flexibility and power of Nahiri felt really pretty good. Yeah, exactly. Suspend 2 in the game. We're not deterministically dead. I concede when we're deterministically dead, but they haven't showed us cards to actually kill us. So now they have Past in Flames naturally. So they just had, like, Ritual plus Past in Flames in hand. Yeah, since we're no longer leaning on Logic now, I think that's fine. To set the bar low, Nahiri is better than Tibalt. They put a ritual on top of their deck. I really wish I knew what the storm count was so I could know if I was dead or not. Well, we're not playing Logic Knot, Camwell, so I'm not sure what you're suggesting. Like, what? I don't think the fast decks in general are really this deck's problem. I know I, like, tapped out for a Cryptic Command here and died, but, like, I'm also playing a game where, like, it's game 1. I really wish I would have cast the Past in Flames 10 turns ago so I could have conceded instead of waiting for them to masturbate vigorously. And I think this is why people think Storm is better than it actually is in the format, because, like, the games you lose to Storm just feel so terrible. You just, like, you walk away from that game and you're like, man, that was a really miserable game of Magic the Gathering. I'm really sad. When in reality, like, Storm doesn't actually have that good of a win percentage against the field. Hey, Fatso, with the 11-month resubscription, thank you very much and welcome back. Almost an entire year. Thank you for the continued support. All right, I like a non-zero number of sweepers in this matchup. Why do I keep getting random avatars? I don't understand. Stop it, Magic Online. Stop. I don't want your cosmetics. I don't want your cosmetics. Yeah, I think 2 to 3 answers for goblins is good. Hey, Rashagast, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. There's a lot of excellent people streaming on Twitch right now. I appreciate you choosing to support my stuff here. Search for Azcanta is probably loose, especially if I'm boarding in Rest in Peace. It's also a little slow in general. Maybe I leave in anger over this verdict, and then I'm going to trim a couple of Lightning Helixes, I think. I think I like the cheaper ways to answer goblins more than anything, because, like, if I spend an Anger of the Gods to kill a Baral, I think I'm fine with that by and large. How old am I? I am 28. Am I 28? I might be 27. I don't know. I was born in 91. Am I 26? 91 till now. 91 till now. I think Search is better than Cryptic Command because Cryptic Command's infinite mana. No, they don't have Blood Moons in their deck. They don't have Blood Moons in their deck. I don't actually know how old I am. I have a January birthday, so I'm 27. I'm 27. $27. There you go. There's the answer. 91. January 91. All right, I think I like this. SCG says 27. There you go. Nick Miller's on the ball. So I think the fact that I'm boarding in Rest in Peace and Damping Sphere makes my opponent extremely likely to want to go on the Goblins plan. So I think having 3 answers to Goblins post board is very reasonable. I also think with Nahiri in my deck, I'm incentivized to have even more answers to Goblins just because I can loot them away. This game's okay. I'll keep this. We're missing colors, obviously, but like I have the Serum Visions to do some work. Perfect. I'm gonna bottom both of these at this point, right? See, I channel the energy of an angry old man really well. The fact that I have 2 children and I have not a lot of hair makes me able to pass for a much angrier older man than I am. My house was a zoo growing up. We had like 4 dogs, rabbits, snakes, rats. Like my parents loved animals. We had a lot of animals growing up. Good work trying to get the answers to security questions, though. That's like A+ internet phishing. The children age you exponentially. All right, so what am I doing here? I kind of want to just play Field of Ruin and pass and use this to search up a white source for my Nahiri here. My son is 6, but we had him 20 years ago. I'm going to steal that in the future, I think. Yeah, the Cryptic's slightly less important, I think. Especially with the Rest in Peace in play. You had to pick a favorite movie or your childhood's best friend's name, what would they be? Oh, chat. Alright, let's try and put my win condition into play here. Suspend to win the game. I'm doing well, Cloud. Life is swell. Remand. That's rude, opponent. Yeah, I agree, McFatzes. Like, I have a new level. Like, having children gave me a new level for sympathy for people that, like, are kids that are misbehaving in public. Like, no, like, I feel like when I was, like, a teenager and, like, a young 20-something, I would, like, see, like, a 2 or a 3-year-old, like, not listening to their parent or being loud or whatever in a supermarket and be like, man, that parent really needs to learn to control their child. And now that I like have my own 2 and 4-year-olds, I'm like, please just make me never leave the house. You can't stop them. They do what they want. Please, somebody help. It's just like, yeah. Alright, what are we doing? It is tough being 2. It is really hard being 2. When you are 2, literally everything bad that happens to you is the single worst thing that's happened to you up until that point in your life. It's just factual, really. I mean, kids have fun parts too. Having kids is not all downside, but they're funny too. Like Declan's a hoot. The kids say the darndest things is a saying for a reason, right? All right. Hopefully we don't have to fetch away that damping sphere, but there's a non-zero chance we might. I get the same feeling when I see a man playing a children's card game in an owl suit. Don't you judge my owl suit. That's a Baral. Do I care about this Baral? I feel like I don't. I'm just gonna let this resolve. Because they have a really hard time killing us with Grape Shot through a Rest in Peace. So I think I just let this happen because like I can answer goblins. If I didn't have an answer for goblins in my hand, I think I'd be inclined to Spell Snare this Baral. My opponent put Opt and Desperate Ritual into their hand. We're not going to fetch because I want the Damping Sphere that's on top of my deck. Yeah, definitely that too. And not even just language barriers, but like, you never know when like, you know, that child that you see acting out in the supermarket, maybe they have special needs or a disability of some sort and something that they don't process things normally or in the same way that other kids or even people in general do. So I've learned that I should cut parents. I feel like I cut parents a lot more slack now, having experienced it firsthand myself. What card would you recommend for the Damping Spheres in the sideboard? There really isn't a good placeholder for the Damping Spheres. If you want to hedge Storm, make it another anti-storm card. If you want to hedge Tron, make it crumble to dust, maybe. Correct. We can't double counterspell this turn because of Damping Sphere. Damping Sphere is fair and symmetrical. I just by and large don't leave the house. I only leave the house with both of them when I'm like taking them to the park or going to do something fun. I just like avoid going and doing errands with them. It's just like taking both kids to run an errand just like makes the errand like more difficult by a factor of like 12. So I think I'm just gonna negate this here. This is a draw 2, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and negate this. Like, this is gonna dig them to ways to answer my hate cards. Please attack me for one. Damn it. Alright. Fetch this away. But, and this is the same thing that goes for Jace. You are in no way obligated to cast Nahiri on 4. And then here's the other thing that makes Nahiri a little bit better than Jace. Nahiri does stuff. She can impact the board. especially in a deck where you're playing a bunch of stuff that allows you to impact the board. Like having another way to do that, like curving interaction into Nahiri, is very, very good a lot of the time. Yes, yeah, the entire point of the deck is to keep the board clean. And there are some decks where people are able to, you know, untap on a clean board with their Baral and kill us, but like that is few and far between. Nahiri also goes a long way towards solving the wrong half problems decks like this often have, which is that they draw their cards that line up poorly, and the fact that Nahiri rummages allows us to fix that problem a lot of the time. I didn't play that land because there's a non-zero chance I want to discard that land to Nahiri next turn, and I definitely don't need 7 mana on the following turn. I think if you're going to try and make a data-driven argument about a format in a game where we don't have fucking data, you're just lying to yourself as much as you're lying to me. That's what I think. So don't reference this data that we don't actually have and tell me the data is inclined to agree with me. If you want to articulate yourself and talk about why, or like why you feel things are the way they are, that's fine. That's part of the reason why Wizards hides the data, folks, is because they hide the data so me and other nerds like me on the internet, nerds like you all in chat, can get into bickering arguments about what is and isn't true. Because guess what? We just literally can't know, because the only way we could know, those people have taken all the data and hidden it. All of the reasonable, accessible data that could let us analytically determine what's good and what's bad isn't available. It's just not. We can't prove anything. We can only talk about our feelings. That's all we can do here. I am most certainly not a nerd. I just enjoy watching another person play. Ooh, the Warrens are being emptied, chat. Yeah, it's just goblins. We're just gonna make the gods real angry here. No, and honestly, no, I think you're right, Leon, is that a lot of people hear me say, well, I appreciate you talking about yourself, but like, I don't agree with your conclusion. They're like, well, he just doesn't want to hear anything other than himself. It's like, no, we can have a reasonable back and forth where I don't agree with the conclusion you came to and just be like, well, we can't be analytical about this. We can't be objective about this. So we just have to be like, this is a part where I hate people use agree to disagree in places where you can be analytical, but we literally just can't be analytical about this because there isn't data available to be analytical with. And whether or not hiding data like Wizards of the Coast does is good or bad for formats and the game is up for debate. Like, that's subjective as well, but the end result in the current situation that we're in is that it is hidden and we don't have an alternative. It's not data that any of us have access to. Teferi's kind of slow and clunky. Any card you're playing in Modern that costs 4 or more mana generally needs to have the ability to win the game, and Nahiri can do that. Will I stream some Hearthstone at some point? I am actually planning to stream some Hearthstone at some point, I think. Once I finish clawing my way up closer towards Legend on the ladder, I'm probably gonna stream. I'm still getting a feel for like what's actually good and bad in the format. Well, I'm just gonna spaghetti monster you. So one of the things I actually think that gives this deck a pretty good leg up is that people have been playing Jeskai decks recently without an Emrakul in them. So like the fact that we have an Emrakul means that people won't respect Nahiri a lot of the time. So Elspeth Knight Errant, Magic Online data is intentionally incomplete because Wizards of the Coast doesn't want you to have access to it. Grand Prix data and GP data and open data, that data is incomplete because collecting complete data for those events is very tedious and difficult. So collecting data, like we don't do digital. It's 2018 and we still don't do fully digital decklist submission for large Magic events. So it's hard. I can't just like plug everything in automatically into a spreadsheet off of the information that we've collected digitally. In order to have complete Grand Prix data, it would require someone to thumb through 2,000 spreadsheets worth of. You can't harvest data with a bot. If you could harvest data with a bot, Goldfish or myself or other people would be doing it and making it public. Lost design value by making data, now they have to make good decisions. That's a good thing. I think Hex has made a lot of mistakes, but having data be freely available, I don't think is one of them. I think on the draw, especially here, I'm going to cut a Cryptic Command and bring in a fourth way to clean up goblins. They're definitely on the goblins plan here. Someone asked what deck. I've been playing Tempo Mage in Hearthstone. I think I'm ranked 17 as of my hour playing at the gym this morning, which is a big part of why I started playing Hearthstone. I can play it on my tablet while I walk on the treadmill in the morning. Very, very large Scantron. Yep. And I'm not doing Hex anymore because I've been displeased with the state of Constructed and the price of their game and some of the overall decisions that they've made in the last year. So I just was kind of taking away from the fun of it, so I stopped doing it. I am not a fan of... I feel like when you take a game that has resource variants like Magic and Eternal have, Eternal is basically Magic Light, and then you make it best of one. I find best of one in Eternal extremely frustrating, and I find their mulligan system lazy and bad. I've been enjoying Hearthstone's gameplay more than Eternal's gameplay, but that is very subjective. Take that for what you will. Feel free to agree or disagree with it. I had never given Hearthstone a real chance, just like the fact that it was a CCG, I was just like, well, this isn't for me. I don't like the idea of a CCG. And then once I got past the fact that it was a CCG and I just like, sucked it up basically and like got the cards for the deck I wanted to play, I found myself really enjoying Hearthstone. I think the game, the people that talk about like Hearthstone just being like this RNG fiesta, I feel like those are people who haven't put a lot of critical thought into the game and are just like writing off their losses on variants. So Eternal's mulligan system is it draws your first hand naturally, and then your second hand is guaranteed to have between 2 and 5 resources in it. And the fact that your second hand is guaranteed to have between 2 and 5 resources in it means that, what's the word I'm searching for? It means that they have to implement a deck building restriction on the game so people can't cheat the mulligan system. So like their lazy solution leads to like them having to implement this deck building restriction that's awkward. So like what Hex does to digitally fix mulligans is much more elegant than what Eternal does. It doesn't, the way Hex does it allows you to not have this stupid deck building restriction in the game basically. But so this has been my response to people talking about variants in Hearthstone. Did you know that Collected Company and Aetherworks Marvel were both tier 1 best Magic decks in the formats, in the standard formats that they were legal in? Did you know that? That those cards are RNG fiestas, arguably more so than some of the things that Hearthstone has that involves RNG. So what Hex does is Hex creates a modified probability distribution of the specific deck that you're playing, and it removes the 10% most resource light hands and 5% most resource dense hands that you can draw. So it doesn't statistically favor any specific land amount and doesn't require you to put this artificial restriction on how decks are built in the game. Yes, what Burgle just said. Brief public service announcement. Your draw step is the highest RNG part of any game. Tell me more, yeah, about Burning Inquiry Goblin Lore. I agree. I actually talked about this too. Someone cited the Discover mechanic in Hearthstone as implementing more variance into the game. I actually think the Discover mechanic in Hearthstone is very skill intensive, because I think in games like Magic and TCGs in general, there's a lot of people that just memorize play patterns in the games. And what having a mechanic like Discover does is it forces players into play patterns that they normally wouldn't play around, because it puts the cards in sequences that they're not used to seeing. Or there's like this random card that's not normally constructed playable that is very, very good in a given situation. So I think the Discover mechanic in Hearthstone is just A+. I think it's very, very good. I think it adds a lot of skill to the game. And also, like, the flip side of someone who's like played infinite Magic online and like lots of games like Hex and Eternal and like every CCG under the sun, Blizzard is very, very good at writing software. In case you weren't, if you've never played a Blizzard product before, let me tell you about a company that's really fucking good at software development. Blizzard is really good at writing computer programs, just arguably the best. So it's really refreshing to play a game that's just actually a quality piece of software. Yeah, it's pretty good, right? Unfortunately, rest in peace with Nahiri means that this Emrakul is gone for good, but I think that's fine here. Boxboy5 from YouTube to occasionally watching on Twitch, enjoying all the juicy memes, keeping it up. Thank you for the 7-month resubscription. I appreciate the continued support. I'm glad you enjoyed the YouTube archives. Thanks for helping me do what I do here every day. The deck building restriction, it's 1/3 or 20. There's some minimum number of resources that are required to be in your deck. Yeah, Direwolf does create good software. The Direwolf from a software aspect is just A+. No, I don't think so. Search your library. No, it only searches your library. I was pretty sure I knew what this card did. I'm just gonna Spell Snare this, because I actually can't beat goblins right now, so I'm gonna make sure they don't go off here. It's not Morrow, it's Richard Garfield is designing the new game. Artifact has not been released yet from, what's it called? Artifact is a game that's being designed by Richard Garfield and being created by Valve. I could exile my own rip, get out of here. Yeah, I agree, extras. I think Damping Sphere being a second base of permanent base disruption took a matchup like this and put it pretty far over the top for us. If you've never given Hearthstone a genuine try, I would strongly recommend giving Hearthstone a genuine try. Have you tried Heroes of the Storm yet? It's one of my favorite games, and I believe, and I agree about Blizzard, they're the best. I'm not really too big into MOBAs. we actually don't have another thing for this to go get, right? I should just like go get another Snapcaster Mage. Maybe I'm not supposed to board out both my Gideons for when this happens. Maybe I'm not supposed to board out both my Gideons. Am I supposed to just get another Snapcaster Mage? I'm gonna bin the Scalding Tarn, I guess. I think I want a second Damping Sphere. No, I don't think so, Camwell. I think I just want to play a stock list. Hey, Drain, thank you for the 4-month resubscription. I do appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. So the thing is, if you're looking for another game that's not, you know, that's like not Hearthstone on the computer, guess what? They all the non-Hearthstone games, aside from Hex and MTGO, are the Hearthstone model for acquiring cards effectively. Hey, CK Lou, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. There's a lot of excellent people streaming on Twitch right now, so thank you for the support. Another thing too is, like, at this point, having spent a ton of time playing a lot of like third-party random games that are small and like are neat games, it's nice to just play a game that has good support from a big company that's just like a well-done game. It genuinely is. It's nice to play. It's nice playing the popular game. It really is. There's lots of opponents to play against. Like, it's got a lot of good things going for it. Pokemon as a TCG is actually very, very good. It has a lot of really deep gameplay. Has a lot of really deep and quality gameplay. Yeah, I think we're just getting in here with Snapcaster Mage at this point. Just pick up a second one here. I really enjoyed Pokemon TCG from a pure gameplay perspective. I've not played Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon doesn't have, their digital client is good software, but there's no events or anything like that you can play on Pokemon, and like there's no Twitch presence for Pokemon. I discarded Emrakul because we drew it. I mean, MTG and Hearthstone, they fill different niches, right? And I definitely haven't played anywhere near as much Hearthstone as I have played Magic. So, like, I genuinely don't feel like I'm qualified to, like, draw powerful conclusions between one or the other. Nivik, did you see the deck list I posted? I made a bunch of changes to your Eater of the Days list that I think make it better, but if you want me to play exactly the list you posted, I will. But I did make a bunch of changes that I think I like. Yeah, the competitive aspects of Pokemon are pretty rancid. There are Celestial Colonnades in my deck somewhere. There are Celestial Colonnades in my deck somewhere. I spent a bunch of time playing Pokemon at the beginning of last year. I actually played in one of their regional tournaments and bought a bunch of decks. So I spent a lot of time playing the game, and I felt like the game had a lot of depth to it. We can just never beat... There are 4 lightning bolts in my deck right now. Yeah, there's 4 bolts in my deck. So, like, we might be able to beat this Sporal. It's a 5-mana pieces of the puzzle. We have 4 bolts and a Lightning Helix. Fetch, I've got a Hallowed Fountain left in here. I'm gonna end step a Snapcaster Mage here. Colonnade, Bolt, Helix, a lot of really good top decks here. We are 30 cards into our deck without any of those cards. What? Mana Leak. Get out of here. Sub for the meme, stayed for the Bamonte experience. Faraday 146. Thank you very much for the 4-month resubscription. I do appreciate that. Do you think they have a post-Mana Leak Land of Shame? This pause feels like they're going to have a post-Mana Leak Land of Shame. $32 cards into our deck without a Bolt, a Helix, or a Celestial Colonnade. Folks asking about Brawl, I think I'm gonna wait until they do their first set of bannings on the format. The results of the first Brawl event do not instill confidence in the format being particularly diverse or healthy off the bat, which is to be expected to a degree, I think. Yeah, Stamping Sphere's effects do stack. I have 1 Helix in my deck, that is correct. I have 1 Helix, and I had 4 Bolts. Sounds good. Sweet. Yeah, I think evolution is a sweet idea. I think just like streamlining it, like the ancient stirrings felt a little bit clunky. The Brawl results were 17 of the top 32 decks were the same archetype. Oh look, they finally had enough. They finally. Could you imagine having to win every game you play with this deck like this, just like beating down with Snapcaster Mages when you don't have the Emrakul? At any rate, we're now 1-1 with Jeskai Nahiri. Thank you everybody for hanging out here today. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. If you are enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the reason I'm able to do what I do as awesome as I do it. Subscribing starts at $4.99 a month, or if you're one of the many people in the world who has Amazon Prime, if you link your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account, you get Twitch Prime included in that for free. And Twitch Prime gives you a free channel subscription to a Twitch content producer of your choice every single month. It costs you nothing extra. It's included with your Prime. You can also support my stuff by supporting my sponsors. MTGOtraders.com would love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. And if you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience. Using code Jeff12, you can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags there. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn your Magic cards and other Magic cards directly with others players. There's no haggling. They just take a 1% fee off the top. And finally, this stream is made possible by viewers like Anaronix, Justin, Nivik, and you. At the very least, please make sure you hit that follow button. Following the stream doesn't cost you anything, and it lets you know when I go live and with what. Always try and put the names of the decks that we're going to be playing on a given day in my stream title, so that way you can know what to expect when I go live. If something sounds really sweet and you can't catch it when I go live, be sure to check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland. 100% of my streams get archived there, so you can watch just the stuff that you care about. I try and break them up by deck and by format, so you can kind of skip over the ones that sound less appealing to you personally. We lost to Red White Bears, and if you missed the first match, be sure to check out the replay on the YouTube channel later tonight. I think you just don't. Modern's a format where you're going to die with 6 mana cards in your hand, and like I'm already playing 4 mana planeswalkers that are kind of clunky, so like adding a 6-drop to my deck sounds like a great way to just like get hands full of ways to die in Modern. So I don't think that sounds particularly exciting. Yes, literally every hour we stream playing matches of Magic are sent to YouTube after the fact. You can watch actual everything on there. Do we have 15 mana producing lands to cast Emrakul? I've got 4 Tarns and 4 Strands. That's 8. So we have 16 mana producing lands. Which streamers do I sub to? I watch a lot of Holy Shamgar is another streamer that I watch. And then I've also been watching, since I started playing Hearthstone, I've been watching Kibler stream Hearthstone. He's a very good content producer. There's a reason why he's been successful. It's decent. Just like these cards could be anything. Got a wide variety of answers here. I'm gonna fetch Steam Vents here to start. Let's go down Jarvis. We don't know exactly what kind of Scalding Tarn deck they're playing. They could be playing Storm again. We could be playing Storm again. We could be playing against a Blue Moon style deck. We could be playing a Jeskai mirror. They could be blue-white. A lot of different things they could be. Yep. All right. That's a thing that just happened. That's certainly a modern legal Magic card opponent. That is legal in the format. There's a Link Nivik. Heroes Blade. Did they just register their Brawl deck in this league? Is that what's happened? Did they just like register their Brawl deck for this league? They missed a land drop there, right? I'm gonna bin the Serum Visions, just looking to find another land here naturally. Do I want to path this now? Or do I want to path it during their upkeep and potentially fight over it? I think I'm gonna path it during their upkeep since I have another path and a Spell Snare here. So remember, even if Boreal reduces the cost of a 2-mana counter spell to 1 mana, its converted mana cost is still 2, so Spell Snare would still counter it. Jace Vryn's Prodigy, that's fine. In response to this trigger, I'm going to go ahead and Lightning Helix Jace Vryn's Prodigy. That puts us to 5 cards in the bin, so we're 2 turns from flipping this. Big Gids, huh? I think I'm okay with that one. With the Flooded Strand here, I actually still get to... I still get the flip search for Azcanta next turn, so I think drawing a Gideon seems fine. I don't know what exactly they're doing. This implies to me that it might be something more aggressive. Electrolyze gets to split damage between me and my Planeswalker. Wizards, that's not fair. That card's not supposed to do that. That's not how Magic's supposed to work. That's so rude. That's just the most rude. Snare your spell. File for... This is not the Magic I signed up for. This is not what these cards did when I paid for them. I have 8 cards in my bin, so I'm going to choose to draw that. Comp request. Comp it, please. Bottom the mountain in the market for a Nahiri for sure. Do I want to play this land? I think I do, because playing the land means I can cast Path to Exile plus activate Search for Azcanta still. Oh, baby, who's ready to activate search in the control me? Yeah, I just want to rub this search all over my body. Just Just want to rub the itch all over my body. Is this a Cryptic Command? I think it's a Cryptic Command, actually. Just like mono. Wizards, lightning. Oh, whoa, whoa, thunder. Whoa, whoa, thunder. Do 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 do. Man, getcha. Wizards, lightning. When 4 bolts are not quite enough. Command the wizard lightning. All right, we're at 11. I'm feeling pretty safe. Would like to find a helix like that helix right there. Would like to take this helix and point it domeward bound. If you're in Discord, Big Mama, Andrew had a wizard's list that he was working on. Had a 25k for Hearthstone, and it capped at 280 players. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right. Are we done here yet, opponent? Is this a concession snap? My search for Azcanta's activated plenty of times. You're not burning me out. Yeah, what was the entry fee? Was the entry fee more or less than a Grand Prix? Was the entry fee more or less than a Grand Prix? It's a good question. It's an important one to find out. Survey says, oh, Nahiri, sure. Found a piece of candy, chat. Found a piece of candy. Piece of Nahiri-shaped candy. Blast you. Snapcaster Mage in. Rawr. Just gonna pass the turn here with all of the things up. Are we done yet? I think we're the better Wizards deck. Hey, what's going on, Immortal? Feel like it's been a while. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Do the little graveyard dance here. The graveyard boogie. Stop it. We figure out our cost. I don't know if I'm gonna sell myself for the open. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I feel like I'm leaning towards no. I feel like I kind of want to try and qualify for the Invitational this summer. A 3-day event pass is $79. Holy shit, that's funny. Oh, Tom. It's funny because it's true. All right. Do we think they're that likely to be blood mooning me? Probably. What do we think of this? Give us $1 about for you to ignore not selling yourself. really know what they're doing. I'm just gonna bring in these Wear Tears, hedging Blood Moon. I guess I have Nahiri to hedge Blood Moon, so maybe I don't even need the Wear Tears. Yeah, maybe boarding in the Wear Tears is silly. Dispel would have been okay. Yeah, Dispel would have been okay in the blue-red mirror. Wear Tear does kill Hero's Blade. Yep. Gotta answer the Hero Blade. Yeah, I think there's a chance that that's what's going on, Burgle. They might just be playing like this weird blue-red burn deck, basically. Did I like it build a 2-card rampant growth here? Alright, I'm gonna bend some of these paths. I thought about just like putting up donation totals for a couple different decks for me to play at the Open, but the problem with that is Justin would just pick which deck he wanted me to play the most, and then just like I'd end up playing that one. So I think I'm actually just gonna test a few different things. Like the Louisville Open is close to me. I might do another donation goal for like a weird or wacky deck to play at like maybe an Open that's further away where I'd have some travel costs to get to. But I think I would like to try and qualify for the Invitational this summer. That's a wizard, chat. That is a look at this. I'm going to use this to put my Colonnade into play untapped, and then I'm going to path it. That's just good, clean magic right there. Got to put my Colonnade into play untapped. Just a strict upgrade there. I mean, I never didn't want to qualify for the Invitational. Like, the event sounds really sweet. They got a lot of people. I should have bolted this in response to this, right? Loose. Should have bolted it in response. I'm between a few different decks that have a lot of different cards in them, Terminator. This is one of the decks I'm considering playing. I'm considering playing Angel Cord. I'm considering playing Blue-Red Prison. I'm considering playing Black-Green Midrange. Those are the four. I'm limiting myself to those four. I've decided that 4 is enough. I'm gonna play one of these 4 at this point. So this, Angel Cord, Green Black, or Blue Red Prison. Why Black Green over Jund? I mean, I'd work on a Blue Red Wizards deck if people wanted to brew it. Like, my buddy Klutz has already been working on Blue Red Prisons and Druid, or Blue Wizards. He's been excited about that. So, like, if you wanted me to play a Blue Red Wizards deck, we'd play that on stream for sure. I don't know that it's something Yeah, I tweeted a black-green list that I was poking at the other day. So if you look at my Twitter, or if you're in the subs Discord, there's a black-green deck there. I think Damping Sphere could really give that kind of that archetype a little bit more life. Oh no! Oh no! The wizards retorted us. Sounds good, Terminator. Will do for sure. Feels like that band it is, right? It's like really funny. Well, I mean, Nahiri's gained us 8 so far, right? Let's keep ticking this up here. What a fucking tilt. What a tilt! Tilt! The worst part here is if we discard the Emrakul, we have to shuffle our discard pile. Why did you draw that? Mistakes were made, chat. Mistakes were made. We didn't think about all of the things that could happen to us. It's fine. We'll just combo them in 2 turns instead of in 3. Instead of in 1. Whatever it's called. This way, we get to keep our Nahiri as my graveyard dances by the white of the light moon. Yeah, I'm just gonna end step double bolt this, basically. Dispel. Alright, do the graveyard shuffle. The Kansas City Shuffle. Can anybody name that movie reference? The Kansas City Shuffle? I've got internet points for whoever can name the movie the Kansas City Shuffle references. Get that. There we go. It's a great movie. It's a great. I wanna just look at this. Look at this quality deck building. Shuffle my graveyard back into my deck, and then play Search for Azcanta. Only on streams like this one can you watch displays of quality deck building such as this take place. The Triple X by Vin Diesel. You tried, Brecken Sky, and that's what counts. You tried. Trigger. It doesn't really matter. I think we end up mostly in the same place, civilized. You could scry your cards back into the graveyard. I don't know if that's how that works. I wonder if this is a record amount of viewers for Magic with the Dominaria event that's going on. I feel like I'm boxed in. There's just all these people streaming Magic Arena, and I'm just like here in the middle with Magic Online, like, nobody look at what we're doing. This is what everybody used to do, I swear. This is all I got. I just want to play Modern, and this is what I have. Alright, this hand seems great. Oh. We're in the desert. All right. We've got Lightning Helix in our opening hand against turn 1 Goblin Guide. That's exciting. Ayo! Yahtzee! Believe it or not, as considering I do this for my job, I'm aware of which times of day get my peak viewers, and overlapping when Caleb streams is actually not a good way to get a lot of viewers. I'm helixing now because I really don't want to get skullcracked, Burgle. I really just don't want to get skullcracked. I think that the easiest way to lose to burn is to just like not gain your health and just not spend your mana, and I just want to like avoid doing those two things. Just go ahead and play Search here. Maybe I should have played the Search instead of Angering last turn. See that going either way. Alright, Farragon, Saffron. He doesn't usually hit my viewer count too bad. He has more concurrence than me, but I feel like we don't have a ton of overlap. Ding. Alright, so I get to snap Helix next turn. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I mean, Saffron and I do kind of similar things at this point. Like, I'm basically I'm a paid meme. He memes for free, basically. You're like that food stand that does some shot. Yeah, doing the. All right, so do I want this Nahiri? Do I want this Nahiri? I probably do, right? I kind of just want an untapped land. No, I'm going to take this, actually. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to shock, and I'm going to Nahiri this Goblin Guide. I enjoy Seth's content a lot, but when he streams, he's pretty unfocused. I prefer his YouTube content to his Twitch content, just because like he like interacts with the chat to the point of like it's slowing down his content, basically. Yep, so Nahiri took 2, killed a Goblin Guy, but then gained 2 back. I exiled the Goblin Guide because it made my opponent have to have a spell in order for the Monastery Swiftspear to kill the Nahiri. I know I got 1 less land trigger out of it, but I think that's less relevant than forcing their sequencing the way it did, because by forcing them to play a spell here, they don't get to hold up Skullcrack, which is valuable to me. Yep, Slevin's a good one. It's a classic piece of cinema. It's like Fight Clubs. Slevin and Fight Club. Those were my undergrad classic films. What are we watching tonight? All right, let's watch one of those. We need a removal spell for this pretty badly. Oh, it's unfortunate. I guess I'm just smacking them with the Snapcaster Mage, right? I don't think I've seen the usual suspects. That one doesn't ring familiar to me. If you're wondering what a deck list is that we're playing later today, you can type !deck in chat, and there's deck links for most of them in the, or !donation queue in chat. There's links for most of them in the queue. I'm actually gonna go ahead and mana leak this because my opponent's getting to enough lands that this mana leak's gonna be a dead card here at some point soon. We played the Goblin Storm deck on stream. The build we played was really rancid. Every time I've seen anyone play the deck, their build's been really rancid, so I can't say that I've been particularly impressed with anything I've seen surrounding that deck so far. My opponent not cracking this fetch land yet is a mistake on their part. I'm gonna get to path this in response to them cracking this fetch land here. Cheers for streaming Modern. PS, it's pronounced No Miss Silent K. Thank you, No Miss. I appreciate the bits. Thanks for dropping by today. So they're down 2 points of damage here because of their sequencing. They've got 2 cards in their hand, and I'm at 11, and I have a Spell Snare. So, like, this Gideon also lets us turn the corner pretty quickly, too, which is the reason I really like him. Yep, that's fine. Every time I've seen someone stream the Goblin Storm deck, and I've seen 3 or 4 people stream it, everybody in their chat is very adamant that the build of Goblin Storm that the streamer is playing is bad. But if they're all bad, how have I never seen a good one? That's what I'd like to know. If they're all bad, where are the good ones hiding? So this deck that I'm playing right now is actually one of the decks that I'm considering playing at the SCG Open next month, and Nivik and Justin had sent me a bunch of dollary dues to play a deck of my choice. So this is me using up one of my decks of my choice. I like this configuration of this deck a lot. Like I said earlier, the thing that would keep me from playing this deck in a tournament is more so the fact that, like, playing a deck in Modern where you never get a free win is kind of rough, if we're just being blunt. No, Jace isn't good in Modern. That's why he's not seeing play in decks. This prevents all damage, right? Prevent all damage it would deal. So I can do this and then bolt this and not take any damage. God, that feels good. Nice Eidolon, opponent. Get out of here. Get him out of here. Because I wanted to be fancy and kill it with a lightning bolt. I should have checked that that worked before I let that resolve, but, you know, fancy. I agree. I think what Nahiri does in terms of, like, the power level of the card is much more what you want out of a 4-drop in Modern. It's a card that's actual removal. It's a card that threatens to win the game 2 turns after you play it. It does a lot of very reasonable things in the format. Literally the only spell in their deck that Mana Leak still hits. Get it out of here. I like how we're still playing Magic here. Just like 6 Search for Azcanta activations later. We're still here playing Magic the Gathering, huh? That's what we're going with. Hey, Cher, thanks for the host. Welcome to folks coming over from Caleb's channel. We're hanging out playing some Modern all afternoon today. Playing some Jeskai Nahiri now. I've got some other sweet things in the docket later. It's fine that bolt's lethal, right? Because Lad Chad here fires up as a 4/4. I've really been impressed with getting to the trials in these archetypes. Like, the fact that you just make sure the opposing aggressive decks, like, extend into your sweepers. He's a pseudo removal spell. He's a clock that closes the game quickly. He's disruption against decks like Ad Nauseam. He really does a lot. All right, burn. Get to board in Dispel and Negate. I get to cut Anger and Supreme Verdict and a Cryptic Command. This main deck's actually pretty good against burn. We don't have the full 4 suite of Lightning Helixes, but we do have Spell Snare, which is actually pretty exceptional in this matchup. I don't think I want any of these other cards. The Angel Cord deck is green, white, splash, black. Yes. It's got some black sideboard cards and Siege Rhino in the main deck. What's going on, Hierarch? Howdy to everyone. Hanging out. Everyone's having a great Wednesday, great middle of your week. Nah, Settle the Wreckage isn't particularly good here. Engineered Explosives is slow. I don't think you should almost ever board Engineered Explosives in against Burn. Burn is a deck that beats people by killing them while they have cards in their hand. So planning to spend 3 mana with your Engineered Explosives to kill their 1 mana spell is generally speaking not a winning proposition. The opposing deck probably has at most 10 1-drops, so the chances of you killing 2 1-drops with it aren't exceptionally high. I think boarding in Wear Tear to kill Eidolon is kind of narrow. We have a lot of ways to kill Eidolon as is. This hand's actually kind of close for me. Like I said, Spell Snare is one of the better cards in this matchup, and the fact that this hand takes very little damage from its mana has very high upside here, I think. We're a little bit medium against a turn 1 1-drop creature, but our deck's full of removal spells, so sweet. No 1 mana creature on 1 is excellent. So hopefully they have Eidolon here, and we just go like snare your Eidolon, untap, play this Search for Azcanta. I'm a big fan of black, green, and blue. Not necessarily together, but like those 3 colors in general are like the colors I tend to gravitate towards. Have you considered playing Click in this list to get Emrakul back in the deck without Nahiri? So the thing about putting Vendilion Click in this deck is I think one of the big draws to playing a deck like this is blanking opposing creature removal, and turning that removal on by playing a card like Vendilion Click that wants to be attacking kind of feels bad. Nahiri is very good versus Eidolon, you're not wrong. That being said, I think bolting that there is correct. Yeah. Sultai is just like it's just not good enough. The fact that it my mouth is mushing and I can't use my words. The fact that it dies to Blood Moon as bad as it does is a big deal. This is my Nahiri. In 2 turns, she will kill you. Yeah, I agree. In fact, the green-black deck the green-black build that I'm considering playing in at the Open next month started as a Sultai build, and at the end of the day, I realized the only blue cards I kind of liked was cantrips, and like splashing a 3rd color for a bunch of cantrips seemed really silly. Nahiri is much better than Jace here. To set the bar low, Nahiri is better than Jace the Mind Sculptor in Modern. And that's a low bar because Jace the Mind Sculptor is really bad in Modern. If you've been under a rock, Jace the Mind Sculptor, not a particularly good card in this format. I'm not a fan of Ashiok in Modern. The fact that it takes 2 activations to generate card advantage is kind of terrible. The green-black deck that I'm considering playing is on my Twitter. Yeah, they should be pretty dead here, right? I'm just gonna, like, minus this Nahiri and kill all of their lands. Don't draw Emrakul, don't draw Emrakul. Actually, we can't draw Emrakul because of Search for Azcanta, right? That's fine. I just don't want to get Deflecting Palmed. No, I'll take a Snappy. Yes, transform. Yep, we top anything that's not Emrakul, basically. This is my Squid Mama. My Squid Mama's coming for you. Her tentacles reach out. Yep, we have Snap Snare for Palm. And if they don't have Palm, we have Snap Bolt for lethal. So. Who's the burn deck now, opponent? Who's the burn deck now? Accept her loving tentacly embrace. Gon' give it to you. Gon' give it to you. Gon' give it to you. It depends on the situation. I don't know. I don't think Architect of Thought's particularly good in general either. Like the bar on a 4-mana card being playable in Modern is pretty high. Like I said, Nahiri's very flexible, and the only reason she even passes the bar for being playable, I feel, is because games like that one you just watched where she reads Suspend 2, win the game. Like, Rummage twice, win the game. We're 3-1 now. We lost round 1 to Poop Bears. For those of you, someone just mentioned a comment on a thing that I was looking at, mentioned Pauper. For those of you in the audience who are Pauper fans, tomorrow afternoon, Thursday, we're going to be doing all Pauper all day. So we're doing all Modern today, but tomorrow we've got some sweet Pauper decks, one of which has been sitting in the queue for a while, but we've gonna try a few different Pauper-y things tomorrow afternoon. It's been a little while since we poked at the format, but that format's been pretty fun and very interactive last time we played it, so I'm excited to poke at that again. Well, for a little while, there were Jeskai variations. I think Ali Andrazi popularized it, where they were just playing like 1 or 2 Nahiri with Gear Hulk as a finisher. And I think I'd much rather just like jam 4 and have her actually win the game. Yeah, someone donated for 1 Land Spy, so we're definitely going to be playing that tomorrow. I'm going to bottom this. There's a lot of lands in our deck, and I'm definitely want to try and find a 1, 2, or 3 mana spell to interact before turn 4 this game, I think. It's been a long league, almost 2 hours. I think I'm going to use the one for the person that told me to go pick for there's an eggs deck that someone linked me that seems sweet. Yeah, the 4-color Tron control deck is sweet. I do tweet a lot. I do tweet a lot. It's Pauper Egg, so it's not Crack Clan Ironworks. We are currently 3-1. Storm? Could just be blue-red. The fact that they played a fetch land. All right, blue-red wizards here again, it looks like. I like the cut of your jib, opponent. Opponent misclicked through combat there, it looks like. Light him up there. Yeah, Bob Tassiger is not a combo. Also, like, Tireless Tracker is the card Dark Confidant desperately wishes it could be. Let me tell you about cards Dark Confidant really wishes it was. All right, my body is ready for this Nahiri to get counterspelled, but I'm just gonna YOLO this one right into play here. You thought about settle the score in the green-black list. Nah, I think it's just too clunky. I think you just don't have room for four mana things. I think it's just too cute. Like modern's not a format where you can play things that are that cute. You need to be efficient in modern. Modern's a format where you often die with a bunch of cards in your hand. Nice, Philly. I've really been liking the Tempo Mage deck. It's a gas. It is gas. I think I've got two legendary cards in mind. I've got the Blood Mage and the Alerthin. My Nahiri has gone to 5. Aeons, that one. Yeah, that one. That's the one. Got one of them in there. All right, tick, tick, boom. And again, like, this is one of the things I really like about Nahiri in this archetype is the onus is on my, like, I'm a control deck, but my opponent is the one that has to have an answer right now. If they don't answer this Nahiri, she's going to kill them very quickly. So my opponent is forced to expend resources here dealing with this card that just sits on the table and keeps ticking back up again. Okay, they might be able to burn her out here. Nahiri is inevitability. That's exactly correct. Exactly correct. Tempo Mage is a Hearthstone deck. Tempo Mage is a Hearthstone deck. Yeah, modern is a format though where you generally don't have health to spare. Maybe I should keep that lane because it lets me Snapcaster Cryptic Command. I also find myself saying the anus is on them. Nahiri just takes her anus and rubs it all over him. Just makes him deal with it. Pitch the verdict. I could see that. I could see. So I didn't put them on having Snapcaster Mage here because I thought if they had Snapcaster, they probably would have killed the Nahiri last turn, right? I don't actually know how much dust the Tempo Mage list is. I've got that one on Twitter too. Is this still what I'm playing? This is one card off. I added a second legendary to this, but that's basically the list I've been playing. And I'm I just started playing Hearthstone, like, so I can have something to play on my tablet while I'm at the gym. So, like, I think I'm, like, ranked 17 or something like that. I am not particularly high, but I've been winning a lot with it in the lower ranks. Yeah, we could have potentially wanted to keep up Bolt here. That Nahiri took, like, 10 points of damage, right? And we're still at like 23, and like our deck certainly has more inevitability than theirs, right? Like our top decks in the mid to late game are probably much more powerful than what they have going on. Alright, let's try this again. Beaumont Courier has legs in Modern. I think it's an aggressive card that generates card advantage. Yeah, it's probably not unreasonable. Thanks, Jeff Seth. Have fun at class. Catch you later. You'll probably still be here when you get back. There's a deck list on your screen. I can't decide if I want to verdict these two idiots or not. We're definitely attacking with this. I really want them to bolt or electrolyze this so I can just like verdict the board and not feel bad about it. Third time's the charm, right, lad, Chad? Chad, gon' give it to you. Gon' give it to you. Gon' give it to you. Nahiri, Cryptic Command, search for Azcanta. I think this is actually not Cryptic Command that I want here. I think I've already got a lot of clunk going on. I think he's probably a little bit too slow, Lamps. I think blue-white control is one of the few places where like Jace is okay. Like five mana is a lot of mana in Modern. It is a lot of mana. Because you don't have the chat to give you an unfair advantage. That's a good point. That's a good point. I should start streaming Hearthstone so I can get the clutch lines from my chat. That's where the real magic's gonna happen. Spell Stutter Sprite. Spell Stutter Sprite. Opponent bestill my heart. Spell Stutter Sprite. That is just A+. Quite fantastic. Fairy Wizard. Counter that one, Mr. Wizard. Mr. and Mrs. Wizard. Is this double sprite me? Is this the double sprite search for... Oh, jeez. How do I ever beat all these 1/1s, chat? How do I ever beat all these 1/1s? Oh, no. we've been streaming for the last 2 hours now. Has anybody posted the math breakdown on how much it's going to cost to get all of the cards in MTG Arena yet? Does anybody know? Has anybody posted that yet? Because they posted the details of the real money economy today. We're honor bound to concede. All right, Celestial Colonnade, gonna give it to you. It's dead in 3 here. They're at 11. It's a Cryptic Command. Venser Shaper Savant. That is most certainly a modern legal wizard opponent. Believe it or not, Wizards of, and this is, I feel like people are surprised by what I'm about to say. Wizards of the Coast did not create Magic Arena to give it away for free. It's really, this is a weird concept, I know. Wizards of the Coast created Magic Arena to make money because they are a for-profit company. They are not a charity that designs Magic the Gathering cards. I know, depending on who you talk to, that sometimes a lot of people say things that make it sound a whole lot like Wizards of the Coast is a charity that designs Magic cards. But they are, in fact, a for-profit company that is trying to appease their shareholders. I thought WotC was a drug dealer. Drug dealers make money too, to be fair. WotC discovered that the Moto secondary market. Yeah. Yep. That's basically the TLDR. I think I'm gonna give up on. Do I need to give up on Nahiri here? I don't actually, right? I can play this and plus here, and then I can snap bolt here. Maybe I should have waited till they targeted something with this. This gives them more information, right? Yeah, the walkers have taxed my opponent's resources a great deal. I think I'm just going to trade my Nahiri for their Venser at this point. So, honestly, after playing Hearthstone and playing other games where you can't trade, it's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. If I heard someone post an estimate, though, that like it was going to cost over $300 a set to be able to play Standard if you wanted to be able to change decks in Arena, and like now that's kind of absurd, right? Like I have to put $100 a month into this piece of software in order to play it. Like that's a lot of money for a piece of software. I play in friendly leagues because a lot of people don't understand that the way that these leagues are labeled in a way that's psychologically encouraging you to pay more money and gamble more. The difference between the competitive and the friendly leagues isn't really the caliber of players or the decks you're going to play against, especially in a format like Modern. The difference between a friendly league and a competitive league is that a friendly league has a flatter prize structure and a competitive league has a top-heavy prize structure. So that's the difference between the two for those that are not familiar with Magic Online. So Magic Online, the competitive leagues, they only pay out prizes to 3-2 and better, and they're very top-heavy. 4-1s and 5-0s get a good deal. Whereas the friendly leagues, they pay out prizes to everyone. Even if you don't win a match, you get some play points back. Search for Azcanta is pretty great at this point, right? Honestly, the Bolt's probably pretty good too. All right, I'm going to shock this in. I probably should have cracked a fetch there and fetched before I cast the Serum Vision instead of shocking, but it's whatever. An article I read that was fairly recent said that in order to get a complete playset of Hearthstone cards when a new set releases without any dust in your pool costs approximately $200 per set at 2 sets per year. That's $400 per year as opposed to $1,200 per year. And also, Hearthstone has dusting, so when your cards rotate out of standard in Hearthstone, you can break them down and put them towards the new standard sets. We call that the content creators bracket when I'm recording videos. That's great. Is it 3 sets per year? So sure, 600 versus 1,200. Details, can non-subs donate for decks to you to play? How much does it cost? Would it cost you to never concede, never to drop? For a $100 donation, I will play your deck through all of the miserable matchups too. But I'm a big fan of just not playing the matchups that are miserable in Magic. Big fan of just not playing matchups that are miserable. I have no idea, ELRO. I'm not sure. Actually, no, I'm a liar. I am sure. The 200 doesn't factor in free stuff. Does it cost more? I genuinely don't know. Like I said, there was an article that was posted. I actually asked this question because I was curious because I just started playing Hearthstone in my subs Discord, and someone linked an article that quoted between around 150 if you played the 4 months previously, and about 200 if you were starting with nothing. I blame you. Yes, when I'm playing a tournament and I have nothing better to do for the next 50 minutes, and, you know, I really care about the result, sure, I'm going to try and play for my 5% or my 10% matchup. No, I'm not cutting Helix against my opponent's deck. That's effectively a burn deck. Cutting Helix is very, very bad. Helix is very, very good against my opponent's tempo burn deck. It is a removal spell that restores points of health to me. I'm going to bottom this. We're just looking for red sources and removal spells. I don't think this is a Settle matchup. They can counter Settle with Stormtamer Mage. So it's definitely not. The, not Storm Chaser, whatever the Stormcaller Siren, the 1-drop standard card counters Settle the Wreckage. Opponent mulliganed up to 1 lander. Rough. There's a red source. God bless. Why not shock in Fountain to keep up Snare? Because I think it's like I have this path to Exile, so like the scariest 2-drop they could play, I can path to Exile most likely. So I think just shocking myself and costing myself guaranteed hit points in a matchup where my health total is probably going to be relevant is bad. We're going to fetch a red source here, and then next turn we can play Glacial Fortress and slam this Nahiri down and just start ticking her up. And again, Nahiri just reads Suspend to win the game, so you can get to run them down pretty quickly. All right, looks like they missed their land drop there and then dropped off. Yeah, Wednesday... My afternoon streams are long streams. So it's actually the first league of a few today. It was a long one. I don't know that I have anything I'd change in this. I was pretty happy with most of the cards that we played. I really like this main deck a lot. Click off and click back on. I really feel like all the main deck slots here are pretty reasonable and have good purpose. They're pretty good flexible answers. I like to split of sweepers. I like to split of planeswalkers. I'm not 100% sure what my sideboard would be moving forward. I'm not sure if I need a second Wear Tear. I'm not 100% sure if I need 4 counter spells. But yeah, I think we're probably going to play this again before Louisville, trying to figure out if this is a deck that I'm interested in playing there. And I think we're probably going to run this back card for card in the main deck and maybe 1 or 2 changes in the sideboard once I think on it a little bit. Alright. What's the next deck? What are we playing? I think it's time for some Torpor Eater of Days. No, 2 searches is great. With Serum Visions, you can find the searches pretty consistently. So, someone was asking earlier, what is Torpor Eater? Torpor Eater is a Torpor Orb Eater of the Days deck. I'm going to update Stream Decker now.